Hello, family. We're back for another exciting episode of SET-4-LIFE with Kente Scott. And today we're going to be talking about the business of comedy. Kente, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be back.
Kente, hey, we're going to kind of just get right into it. I want to say one more thing about the Comedy Cafe, because I can't comment on all the other things you just did, is that you get up and you talk to the crowd. So I do want to jump into money. We come into the money, is that you can also host things. You get asked sometimes to host in different things like that. You can be a host, and then one of the things about you hosting Comedy Cafe is you don't repeat your material.
Yeah. The second Comedy Cafe we did, I did the same material because as a comedian, when you're doing road shows, you're usually doing different audiences.
Yeah, it's easier to find a new group than to write new material.
Exactly.
It's much easier to find a new group.
Man, I need to tell my daddy that. Right. That's amazing. But yes, so that's what we do. And Dino was like, we're going to have repeat customers here. This congregation is going to come enjoy the Comedy Cafe. So you can't have the same jokes as last month. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I need you to write a whole new set every month. And what it did was, I'm competitive. So once you say, do this, then I'm be like, okay, I'm gonna do everything to make it happen. But I was scared to death on that third show because I had never done, because it's basically when you do a whole new set for a new audience, you're basically an extended open mic, and you're trusting, you're trying all new material on the audience and hoping that they get it. But it taught me two things. And it taught me that I can write on the fly and I can write for any audience. But it also taught me to trust the comedy in me. It trusts my delivery and trusts my passion, if you will, for what I'm talking about, and have fun with it. And once the audience, because comedy, I tell people, is 85% confidence, 15% material.
That's true.
So if you have confidence, if you have 85% confidence in your material, they're gonna jump on board. And they'll be like, I didn't know where you was going, but I saw when you got there at the end, I was with you the whole time. So that's part of it. So that literally helped me grow as a comedian, because every month for 6 years, I've done 15, 20 minutes of all new material, sometimes written, sometimes on the fly.
All right, let's say a lesson learned. I'm gonna tell you what God did in your life. And that is that, Kente, I was sitting here doing an interview, conversation with someone, and someone said, comedians like coming in so that they can breathe, we can expand, give them 15 minutes, like what you said a little bit earlier. And doing that is that you gotta give them room to breathe. That's actually giving you room.
Yeah.
Because now, if you can go 30 minutes, and because I'm saying 30, 40 minutes because you got 10 minutes at the beginning, you gotta, when everybody's getting seated, and you're doing, then you gotta, pick on Dennis Lauderdale and then go around a little bit, and then you gotta say something about my shoes.
Yeah.
And, do that. And my wife, anyway, laughs. But anyway, so then you hit all that. Then in between comedians, you go a little bit longer.
Right.
So then now, when you go on the road,
yes.
and they say, hey, you got 30 minutes, you're like,
that's easy work. Yes. They'd be like, you got 45 minutes? Oh, we good to go.
When we on the forum, Prince was singing, and he got rid of his management group. Gosh, I'll never forget this. And it wasn't full. He walked out there, and it was like a third full. And he said, hey, everybody, it's $15 or $10 to get in. And he goes like this, it's 8 o'clock. Call your friends, tell them to come down here. I'm gonna go 3 hours.
Right. Yes.
You know what he's basically saying? I got 3 hours worth of like, we gonna sing Purple Rain and walk.
Right. Or we gonna do the extended remix of Purple Rain.
He's got the
You see that? The material.
So when you do something and you're doing something, it's a gift, and you're doing what God has for you. That is a blessing. Good.
Yeah.
All right, can I go into the money?
I know you've been waiting to get into, like, here come the money part.
So when somebody starts off and they're a comedian or things, let's start with how do you make money and how do comedians make money?
When you start off as a comedy, you do not get paid. You get paid in food and drinks,
Yes.
Either a chicken plate and sodas or a drink ticket, because the comics don't have a union. So there is no barometer. There is no gauge. There's no low point on what a comic can get paid. There's no minimum wage.
Yeah, you're not an hour.
Like you're in SAG. If I show up on a set, be it extra, a SAG principal, SAG one-liner, I know what I'm getting paid based on what I'm doing. No matter how many hours I'm there, no matter how many days, I know where it starts and I know and it goes up from there. Comics, you can get paid in food or you can get paid in laughs. So when you start out, like comics, like I want to be a comedian, and like okay,
have a job.
Keep working, keep working until your comedy is working for you so much that you don't have to work anymore.
Right.
And even then, you should probably still have something you can do online, something you can do like comics can write. Like comics, if you're a good comic, you should be able to write, you should be able to teach, you should be able to do something where if you have good Wi-Fi and a laptop, you can still make money while you're not on stage.
Right.
So starting out, nothing. When you start and your first hosting gig might be $50. It might be $50 and you host the whole night. Then it as a feature, your money increases. You can get $300-400 if you're on the road for a weekend. And then the headliner depends on your notoriety, how famous you are.
Right.
Like you can go anywhere from $1,200 to $50,000. Those the Dave Chappelle.
That's a little bit of range.
And 50 million, Dave Chappelle, cats like that. But those are the extreme outlier headliners. But club headliners, you can do, like I said, from $1,200 to $15,000-20,000 a show in the comedy club.
Gotcha. So that's being so let's hit all the aspects. There's a comedian.
Yes.
Okay. Then there is the host that you can do hosting.
Yes.
That's one, comedy. But then do you also host corporate events?
Yes. Oh, that is the great.
No. We
Yes.
need nobody on thing.
Corporate events are the best because corporate events have a corporate budget.
They sure do.
I have been a keynote speaker.
Keynote,
which for a comedian means come do your comedy for 35 to 40 minutes.
You can't even talk about politics.
But you can't talk about politics. Corporate events will tell you what we want you to talk about.
Sign a piece of paper.
Yes, you can't talk about politics because you don't know who's in the room.
You don't know.
They don't want to mess up their money. You can't talk about corporate America because you're at a corporate event. So you really are talking about you, your friends and family, and your upbringing.
Right.
So they corporate events hire you because of you, not because of what your views could be on the racial outlook of America, which is not saying don't talk about what's passionate to you. But if you're doing a corporate event, they will let you know these are the things you can talk about, these are the things you can't talk about. But here's the check we're going to give you to talk about the things that you can talk about.
I'm going to throw in one more thing also. And they're buying you, but actually the person that when I'm dealing with these people booking, at least for Black History, when I'm doing keynotes, they actually just want to have a nice event and it come off and there's no problem.
Oh yes.
So that's so.
Yes.
And then also one more thing, guys, you have to sign sign a piece of paper that says
that's a contract.
You're not going to do this and that.
Right.
And then before you receive the money, right?
Yes.
Right next to that.
It's way before that.
Right.
But the money is great. But here's the thing. If you are good at what you do, you can slide in something if you really are passionate about it. Like every Black History Month, I get hired to do corporate events. And they're like, yeah, we want to do Black History. Yes.
Oh my God, I'm changing my name.
I've been Black History Months ever since 6th grade when I went to an all-white middle school. And they were like, Kente.
You have a little outfit and everything?
Yeah. They were like, Kente, tell us about Black history. I'm like, I don't know. Yes, you do. Your name is Kente. So, but every Black History Month, I go and I did it for a power company. I won't say the name because I don't know if we are sponsored by them or not. But they were like, it was Black History Month. So I said, I'm going to go find little known Black history facts and create and make them into jokes. So it was like a Black man created the elevator. I was like, if it wasn't for brothers, all work would be on the first and second floor. All the big people would never be able to get to the 8th floor. It was like, I ain't taking them stairs. You're fired. So black people, black people have saved corporate America. You're welcome. So I was able to take those little, which could be, you know, racially or politically divisive facts, because black folks have made most of what America has made money off of in terms of inventions and creations, but I made them funny.
Right.
And after that, they were like, we got to have you back every month. And every month, every Black History Month you come back, we need to have more Black History Month facts. And I was like, oh, Lord, now I got to get a whole
now you can do the peanuts and everything. You gotta
exactly.
Bring the whole thing.
I had to get down to ice cream and everything.
Gotcha. All right, back to, okay, but SET-4-LIFE, big thing that you do learning. Number one is you got a whole nother stream of income from not only hosting, but then doing Black History Month.
Yes.
And then now that the world is flat, now it's changed everything it's doing, now I just see you now making a YouTube channel. Black History Facts. And then, you stand up and you do them, and then you send it to, then you find that power company, then you call up the other power companies that are on the other side of things.
Yeah.
And say, just change the opening.
Exactly.
Or better, just get, you know, I got 300 people working behind me.
Hey.
And what you do is get one of those $2.99 to go ahead and edit, just edit in and just put the name in the front and then do it.
I like that.
But no, but I mean, like you see how you can do
happen. Yeah.
So I'm gonna make sure everybody knows, hey, these are other streams of income. So then now we went over comedian, then we also went over hosting, but then also using that for corporate events. Can I go into you being a trainer?
Yes.
I came to off of Pico by Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. I came down there. This was way before the pandemic and everything like that. And you were tell us about Contagious Comedy.
Contagious Comedy Boot Camp.
Okay, boot camp.
Yes, boot camp. You know, because I feel like a comedy sergeant. At some point, I'm barking at them like a sergeant talking to new recruits. Right. But it comes back from the class I took with Judy Carter, the showcase. The workshop I did with her. It taught me the basis of comedy. So for years, I'd be like, something's missing. And then the class, I came to see you in David Arnold's class. Yeah. And I was like, okay, he's doing it. I can do it as well. So but it's the same structure. It's 6 weeks. It doesn't matter what level of comedy you are. You could have never told a joke on stage, or you can be telling jokes all the time, and you just want to. You're in a writing rut, and you want a different perspective. So I help the person build a 5 to 7 minute set. We showcase you at the end of that 6 week session. Every week you come in, you bring in 5 new jokes.
Right.
And I don't care what they are. I don't care. And I say, if you are a person who cusses, just write the jokes without cussing in them. Just write the jokes clean. If you want to add the seasoning, you can do that. But I need the meat. So then you come in with the jokes. I tell them the best thing you can talk about, because only thing unique to comedy is you. So what's unique to you is you and your views on your family, your job, and your relationships, friendships, and marital or dating relationships.
Right.
So if you talk about those things first, you won't ever have to be like, somebody stole my joke. Nobody can ever steal my joke about my daughter, because it's my daughter.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was like, do that. And then I help them, formulate them. I tell them, this is the basis of a joke. There's a setup, there's a premise, which is the subject of your joke. There's a setup, which is the truth of your joke. Then there's the punchline, which can be as wild as you want it to be, as long as it's funny. And that is a bold-faced lie. Like my jokes about my father are so good to him that at this point he believes he said them. Right? If you were that funny, you'd have been on stage a long time ago. Right. So that's the setup of jokes. So I'm like, you use this, which is the science of, it's a math product. Right. It's a math problem. If you know how to do addition and subtraction, you can elevate to calculus. Right. But you have to know how to do 2 + 2 = 4. Right. So that's the part of writing jokes. I'm like, if you start here, then I can help you get here. So I help them punch up the jokes. Like if they tell me something about that, and inevitably they start with 20 minutes. And I'm like, you got 5 minutes.
Right.
You're going to have to
It's
clean
rambling.
all this up.
You're just getting boom, 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 and you're punching it up. That is so good. I'm going to give you advice and then everybody else here advice. One is, do you guys see, like when you saw me go to David Arnold's class, which he has 2 Netflix specials on.
Yes, exactly.
Is that I sat there the whole time and I was so quiet. I was just watching everything. I was trying to hone my craft from sports, which is you watch really good people do it.
Exactly.
Just watch them. Like sometimes at one time when I went to Comedy Cafe, my people watch me go, you never laugh. I'm like, I'm locking in on you guys, like a fighter pilot.
Yeah.
And what happens is I would lock in, and then this is the so funny part. After the second week, they found out I was a pastor because when I would get up, they saw the confidence.
Yes.
All of my jokes were all kids, women, and family, and they're all clean and they were positive about women. You know what I mean? Because congregation is mainly women. Is mainly women. You know what I mean? And then they would see how I would set it up. You know, and I'd say, hey man, I'm just glad to be out the house. You know what I mean? I had this joke where I would talk about how I said, hey man, just let me know in 15 minutes. My wife thinks I'm getting some milk. I'm here right now. Then I would say, hey, by the way, my kids are in the car and there's a hologram of me outside right now that's saying, sit down, be quiet, I'm almost there.
Right.
And then the people would lean in, and then I'd boom, drop in the finances.
Yes. Yeah.
But see, they were ready to listen. And then now when I go places I can do it, I can set it up.
Yeah. That's what
then you remember that? Then the truth.
Yes.
And then you say something wild. Then you laugh and say, all right, let's come back to your credit score.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's like people, whether you want to be a comedian, whether you want to be a corporate speaker, whether you want to do it, you got to learn these elements.
Right.
It's like holding a holster.
Yeah.
And you're just using the same weapon. It's like the really good people got all the weapons.
It's like the bat was utility belt. He didn't just have the batarang. He had everything.
He didn't do that until he'll tell you to come back next week.
Yeah.
Right.
So he had everything in there, and that, like you said, is just adding more weapons or more utensils to your craft. Like even a good chef doesn't just have a spatula.
Right.
They got everything. Like you going, like, what is all this? I need it in case I need it.
And it can happen, the cook makes the things happen much faster. Yes. They're using all the things and working with people. And that is so good. I hope you continue to do boot camps, you continue to train people. One other plug for them was, at the church, we said we're gonna give out some money to somebody, whoever can be the best comedian.
Oh, yes.
And the person that came to your class won.
Yes.
Now, personally, I think I could have won, but they wouldn't let me. What was America's Funniest Home Videos when you can't be an employee?
You can't be an employee.
I was like, and doing it, but I was one of the people that cheered him on to win. He went, Aaron.
Aaron
went to your class.
He took one of, I want to say like because I think I've done like maybe 7 or 8 boot camps at this point. So he was like in my second class. Yeah. And Aaron he also goes to Faithful Central, but he was quiet. And by the second week of class, I was like, I got to ask people, so, what do you do? And he's like, I do this. I said, are you married? Yes, I'm married. How long y'all been married? Like 15 years. My wife is why I'm here. Why are you not talking about your marriage?
I would be all over
I was like, that is, I said, you have a gold mine right there. He's like, no, she'll be mad. I said, no, she's not.
No, she ain't.
She still, I said, she signed you up and she still lives with you. She knows what you're going to talk about before you talk about it. You have to utilize, it goes back to utility belt. You got to utilize everything that's in your goal. Your life experiences as a comic is your personal gold mine.
Right.
So if you look behind by a gold nugget and be like, I'm not even gonna dig right there.
Right.
You could have a whole gold rush right there, but you're like, I don't want to talk about that.
Right.
The hardest thing I've had is the men who are aspiring to be comics or taking my boot camp to talk about the funniness of their relationship. I said, I'm not going to ever tell you anything that's going to get you divorced. I'm not going to be the reason, because she's not going to put me on the lawsuit with you. I'm not going to be on the divorce papers with you. But I said, there's fun in marriage, and people in the audience who are in relationships or who are married love to hear it because they love to laugh.
Because they're like, am I the only person going through this? Whatever, like when you get up, or when you interpret something about I'm always like, wow, okay.
Yeah, be like, oh, that's my life too. That's our life too. And couples like to laugh together. So I was like, do that. So when he won the first Comedy Cafe open mic, I was like, that's my kid. I mean, that's my student right there.
That's right.
I was a proud father back then.
And just so you know, one more thing about him is we've been to events and everything, and his voice and the way he talks and the way he interprets stuff. I said, and he said a lot of people said that to him. I said, dude, you should go into comedy. Just your voice, the way you do things, or the way because he's a big guy, and his voice is like,
right.
So it's like that. That's good. Hey, so before we go, just a couple little things. Can you tell us some lessons, or just some life lessons, things that you've learned in being in comedy, acting, and things, kind of coming to Hollywood that people, I should say Hollywood, but just coming into this industry, it'll be really good entertainment for people to know.
Always check your check. Like, always check it. I know you like it.
No, we have to handle that. Okay.
Always check your check. When I first started, I was 17, 18 years old. My first agent, I was getting what she gave me. If I called and said, hey, do I have some money? Oh yeah, you got some money. I didn't know about year-to-date statements. I didn't know about the actual check printout that you would get from the production company. I would get her handwritten thing. I made $7,000. That was good money as an 18-year-old. Right. When my W-2 came, my W-2 came at the end of the year, I didn't know, first of all, I'd never done taxes before, so I was like, what is this? I thought it was a misprint. You can never have a misprint on your W-2. Gotcha. I thought it said $27,000. I'd only received $7,000 because I trusted the person who was working for me. Your agent, your manager is working for you. Okay. So if you're your own business, you need to check your check. Okay. So if your money's coming in, you need to say, I need to see the year-to-date statement. I need to see the receipts, the check stub from the production company. I need to, so I can make sure, reconcile these between what you've given me and what they've sent you. And she stole $20,000 from me. So that was the hardest lesson I ever learned at 18. I could have had a great car. My mother called me and thought I was out here doing drugs in LA because she got my W-2 as well because it went to Oakland, to my home address. And she's like, do you need to talk to me about something? I was like, no. And she was like, this thing says you made almost $30,000 for one commercial. And I said, no, I didn't. I made $7,000 for that commercial. It was good money too. She was like, no, this W-2 says there's $27,000. There's 20 some odd $1,000 that's missing that you need to let me know where it's from, or I'm coming down there and you coming back to Oakland with me.
Your mom gets you on stage and checking all your stuff.
Oh, she'll play. So check your check. Like Oprah Winfrey always said, whatever check goes out, I need to see who and how much is going out for. Whatever check comes in, I need to know who it came from and how much it is. So you're your own industry in this show business side, in this show business. So don't be afraid of the business side of it. Right. Check your check, make sure you're getting exactly what you're supposed to be getting so that you can know who's honest with you. Right. And that's the biggest thing I could tell them.
Gotcha. I'm going to do one more life lesson, but then also this, guys. He said check your check, but I want to say check and balance. So you guys, like every quarter, we should be looking at how much you made year to date, and then also he had signed I don't know all things, but also he had signed a contract. Somewhere on that contract, it probably said $27,000 also on that contract. So keep those records, and if you don't have a financial person, you guys know on SET-4-LIFE, we've talked about several times, is that you want to have a dream team. So you need to have a financial person. You need to have a person that does your taxes, because they would have been able to do estimated, because they should have held out estimated taxes. You filled out that on a form, an I-9, before that happened. Right. I'm throwing these terms, you guys, we go over these in SET-4-LIFE. And then also the last check and balance would have been is that we'd have been checking in throughout the year at different things. So the studio or wherever that was, you said it earlier, the production company would have sent you something that you need to have that. Right. And then, because sometimes people take it, not sometimes, but people take advantage of people if you don't know. So that's a way of checking the check and doing that. Gotcha. Any other? Anything else you want to share? Or anything else?
If as a comedian, if they agree to a certain amount, then hold them to that certain amount. Don't ever allow their door sales to affect what you're supposed to be paid. Because comics, we are never allowed. If we say we're doing a show for $200. I just throw that out there. We can't, and then when they say, well, I can only pay you 50, we've not given $50 worth of the jokes. We've given 100% of ourselves, so you deserve 100% of whatever you agreed to. Now, on the flip side, if you agree to $200 and you see that they've sold out the SoFi Stadium, you cannot go back and say, hey, man, you sold out SoFi. You knew it was going to be a SoFi when it started. The potential to sell out SoFi was always there. So you cannot then go back and be like, well, I'm not performing, or I'm not going to give everything because you only gave me 200. No, you have to agree to whatever you agree to, you have to own up to that. And you be responsible for owning up to that. Now, next time, when you go do SoFi, you be like, no, I've done SoFi. I know I need a whole lot more than this $200.
Right.
But that's the thing. If whatever they've agreed to pay you is what you should be paid, and whatever you've agreed to be paid is what you're paid, regardless on both sides of what happens with the door sales.
Great. Kente, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everybody online, type in the chat, give him a shout out.
Yes.
And everything like that. Also, up and coming, check out his website.
Yes.
Also,
KenteScott.com. It's real simple. I can't get a day job, but I can definitely get my website first going.
Gotcha. And then one more thing for him, you guys. Be ready for next Black History Month. He's going to have a whole new show. He's going to have Black History Month. It's going to be produced and everything.
It's going to be some deep Black history.
Deep Black history, all right?
Yes.
All right. Hey, Pastor George here with SET-4-LIFE. I pray you were blessed by this episode. Please join us on our next episode and look forward to seeing you, where we live our life by design, not by default. God bless you, family.